You are listening to Fingerprints, how God is transforming the relational health of His family. All throughout this series, you will hear transformational stories from everyday people just like you. But what if this transformation isn't just for them? What if it's for you too? I want to let you know that it is for you as well. And that's why we've created Relational Collabs, intentional spaces where this type of transformation becomes real. These are small, safe communities where you will practice the skills that will help you grow and build joy, rebuild your trust, enable you to stay present in the middle of hard moments, help you deeply connect to God, yourself, and others, and experience the authentic connection that your heart was designed for. See, this is more than just another class or a book study or even a Bible study. This is real life. This is hands-on. This is heart-connected, and it's changing lives. If you're tired of disconnection, and if you're longing for something more, don't just listen to these stories, become one. For more information, or to join our fall collabs starting in September, go to tableandwell.org/collabs. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. And your healing is part of how God is leaving His fingerprints in the transformation of the relational health of His family. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Table and Well podcast. We are in our series, Fingerprints, how God is transforming the relational health of His family. And we are excited to be continuing the series. We've, again, talked to amazing people, and today is no different. So we've got some friends of ours that are with us today on the podcast. We had the privilege of meeting them. It hasn't quite been 9 months.
It's been a year.
Has it been a year?
Ago.
I think it's been about a year ago. No.
Or was it just the summer?
It's just this spring. This spring. Yeah, it was right.
It was
right.
April.
It was just the spring. Yeah, we met him through Amy. Not Brown anymore. It is
Glazer.
Amy Glazer. Sorry, Amy, if you're listening. But they reached out and we had a really great conversation. Then we had opportunity to hang out with them at Thrive, and it wasn't Thrive. I've got this whole thing messed up at Transform.
Yep.
Transform,
Life Model
yes.
Annual Conference. Yep.
This is all staying in the podcast.
Okay.
Just because
I love it.
It's me. Multiple times. So the story is we met them in April. We hung out with them at Transform in Denver. And then we had the privilege of seeing them every week in our labs. And it has been awesome. Really, and so today we have with us Laran and Lissa Wilke. And did I say that right? No.
Wilke.
See? It's going to be one of those podcasts, guys. It's just going to be one of those podcasts. Laran and Lissa Wilke, just like it's spelled, exactly like it's spelled. So, thank you guys for being here. We are super excited to have you. Thank you for spending this time with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Would you guys mind taking a moment to introduce yourselves? Good luck figuring out who's going to go first.
Because you're not
in the same room. So, should we
Lisa,
do ladies?
go ahead.
I was going to say, we want ladies first.
All right.
Yes.
Goodness, my history. When you get to be my age, there's so much. So what part do you put in? What do you leave out? I think the bigger part is for 20 years, I was in full-time ministry with Youth for Christ International, started locally, USA, and then international. So I have a heart for being with people and helping them to be introduced, to grow, to learn who they are and stuff. And then when I left that, I became a full-time coach. And so I'm a master certified coach and have been doing it now for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. So just really enjoy that part of sitting with people. And again, it's helping people identify who they are and how God created them. But all of that comes a bit from a different angle than what we're talking about today. So that's kind of the fun part about being here today and learning how all that is integrated for me. And I'll let you go now.
It's awesome.
So my name is Laran. My first career was as a paramedic firefighter for 29 years. Wow. I went from there into security, and it was security in a church, actually. And it was through that job that I got connected to the life model. And it was great timing because I was dealing with some really tough stuff in my family. And the Lord just, man, I got some great tools right out of the gate that transformed my relationship with my daughters. And so since then, I have just been, I've seen it as a great tool for everybody. And so I'm excited to talk about that.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what started you guys on your journey toward relational health. Laran, you just kind of gave a clue to what started you. Do you want to go ahead and share a little bit more about, so you're introduced to Life Model, and then where did it go from there?
Well, I got to do a class, a 14-week class, actually on narcissism with James Wilder, and there was just little things in that class because it wasn't a Bible study, and in fact, if you were to tell me I was going to a Bible study, I would probably not go, not because I don't like the Bible or God. I've never went to an exciting Bible study, but this was, I had been introduced a few months prior to this and was invited to come and be part of this training. So we were retraining our brain. And I was just intrigued by that. And again, within a couple of weeks, I began to see how this might help me because I was in a really tough marriage and I had no relationship with my daughters. And I was facing the idea of being divorced, no relationship with my daughters. And I couldn't fathom that. And this came right at the nick of time for me. So,
wow. What was your biggest takeaway from what you learned in those 14 weeks?
I had been accused most of my marriage for having no compassion. I discovered that it wasn't that I had no compassion; it was the wrong word. I actually had no empathy, and I didn't know how. I did not know how to have empathy.
Yeah.
My primary job was on an ambulance. I had a ton of compassion because I connected with patients. I was good at the people part of that, but I could come home and not be that compassionate. But again, the bigger word was I just had no empathy.
Wow.
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 Okay, well, I'm excited to continue to unpack that.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, what started you on your journey?
I wish I had some great story like that. What started me on the journey was, so I went to this singles dinner, and I got there late, and there was one seat left in the place, and I ended up sitting next to this man, and we just started talking, and it turns out that he had this great interest in brain science and relational circuits and all that, and I had spent years working on coaching and kind of the other side and stuff, and we just connected, and somehow we ended up getting married, and now because I'm with him, it's just one of those.
Somehow, I don't know how that happened.
So now I'm in this world, and I am very excited to be here. The things that I'm learning are just blessing me, and I believe that the people I work with as well. So my clients. So that's how I was introduced.
Yeah, that's really
and,
cool.
And just to clarify for those that maybe didn't put it together, that would be Laran that she's talking about is the man that she sat next to.
And you guys have been married how long now?
We met the Saturday after Thanksgiving last year. We got married January 10. So what are we looking at? 9 months?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And lots of opportunity to practice relational skills.
Yeah, I would say this. I studied the brain skills when I went through my divorce. I studied them. I actually was in isolation reading about them, learning all about them. It wasn't until I learned that I actually now need to practice them because I'm back in a relationship. And yes, plenty of ahas. So
yeah.
I love that. So in this, really, I mean, you guys have known each other just about a year.
Right.
In this process. And so kind of thinking back to where you guys were a year ago and your journey through just growing in relational health and the things that you continue to learn, Lisa and Laran, outside of this neuroscience world and with your coaching and training and consulting and Laran with you in this world, like, well, you're both in the world, but you know what I mean? Just really digging deep into this. What has surprised you the most about your growth in relational health over the last year? individually, like, so Laran, we'll start with you. What surprised you the most about your growth?
Uh, I think that I hadn't done a lot of it, that I hadn't gotten to, that I thought I knew, and I did on the left side of my brain. I knew these things, I knew these principles, but when emotions hit, and even when you're not in those environments that formed those responses, you still have reactions, you still have those responses, and uh, that's the part I'm most passionate about, because if I'm like that, we're all like that, right? Everybody has these preformed responses from being in bad environments, and they don't change just because you become a Christian. They don't. They have to be worked on in this lifetime on this planet, and no one had ever told me that. And so there seemed like there was everybody else had this formula: just do this. The Bible says just do this. And I just did those things, and they didn't work. And so of course, you could just say, "Well, I need to do more of it." Anyway, I won't go down that tangent.
No,
But
we can.
But it's the disparity between what God intended and what we get to experience. But now we have a recovery tool. So,
yeah,
that's really good.
Can you expound a little bit more on what God intended? What came to mind for you?
He's so good. He had all this figured out. He had all this planned. I mean, he didn't have anger, bitterness, all these things that we grow, the things we should have experienced and the things we should have never experienced. He had all that mapped into human development. And it got taken out. And the enemy's known about this for a long time. He's been using it against us for a long time. We're finally getting, the download, and God's given us tools to combat that. But there's so many people suffering because they don't know it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of resistance to the work, both in and outside the environments that we find ourselves in. So
that's good. Yeah, it reminds me of a quote that it's in our labs, and Jim Waters says, I forget which book it's from. I think it might be from The Other Half of Church, but he just talks about, I'm not going to quote it, but the synopsis of it is that we all have the DNA of who we're designed to be inside of us, and it's like a seed. It always has a DNA, but because lack of water, being trampled on, not put in the right soil, it doesn't quite get to be the fullness that it's designed to be. It's still that plant, and it's still beautiful. But as you're saying, now we have an opportunity to go back and rewire some of those things and replant some of those things to where we still have an opportunity to become the thing and the person that God designed us to be from the beginning. And that is really beautiful and awesome. So
it's really good.
Yeah. So Lisa, how about you? Biggest surprise?
So biggest surprise. So all the things that you just mentioned a moment ago, I love assessments. My clients take them. I always use the example that's how we're wired. That's who we are. And the more we're aware of that, I said, the more we learn how to hold it so that those things can serve us instead of us serving them. When I'm with my clients, it's always those questions of, what are you telling yourself? What's the story you're hearing? This, that, and the other. And all of that was on the left side. It's all the thinking. We can just think our way through. If I ask enough questions, if we look at it the right way, we can just think our way through and we can figure this out. So the reality is, I've learned over the last year, Laran and I joke a lot that we don't have those standard roles. So what you typically think about the man and the woman in the relationship, we kind of have this reverse. He is much better about connecting with that part, those feelings, that understanding of what's going on that side. I am much more that just think your way through. So we're learning for me, I'm learning to accept more of that and to realize that it is important to acknowledge that there are feelings that go with that. And if we can understand that, it helps us to get to the other side, to understand why we're responding a certain way or why things are showing up. And that's that deeper level. So for me, it really is that acknowledgement. that by bringing that into my coaching, or even for bringing it for me. So
Yeah.
let's take away just the thinking for a moment.
Right.
Let's set for a minute, as much as I dislike, let's set for a minute, acknowledging the feeling and figuring out where that came from.
You say feeling with such a tone.
Such emotion. Such
It
feeling.
doesn't seem to be the joy one, is it?
Oh, those feelings.
That's so good. And it's, yeah. One of the things I say is that, like, if we can name it, then we know what we need to do to go in and how to combat it, or how to address
Even
it.
care for it.
And how to, whatever. Yeah. Yes. Care for
Combat it. We don't combat emotions.
It feels like combating it.
It
I'm going
does.
to have to agree. Okay.
See,
Yeah.
I love
With the fight language.
yes. But you know what
Okay, we move from combativeness to caring.
Okay. Fair enough.
I love it.
It's very fluid. It's very fluid. It's very fluid. But it's so true, though. But yeah, it's that, and when, we teach that, we talk about that, and we practice that, and it's very true. If you're able to, like you're saying, Lisa, like, okay, this is anger, or this is fear. Why am I feeling this way? Where is it coming from? And then on the logical side, this is really neat, because I think this is where the logic and the relation can actually work together. It's kind of the whole brain piece of it, because now you can logically figure it out, and then you can relationally talk to God about it and kind of say, okay, like, yes, logically, these are the things that I know I can do, but look, relationally, Lord, what are you saying in this space, and how do you want me to approach this? And sometimes they line up, and sometimes they don't. But it's the beauty of that whole brained understanding and growing together. So
it's the both sides, and they're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both are very informative.
Yeah.
Right.
And important.
Yeah, important.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it gets me excited for people is, especially if you've grown up in a particularly legalistic church where it's just sin in your life. It's just sin in your life, and you're like, I can't self-control that enough. Well, it's because he didn't. Self-control is like the fail-safe, but it's not supposed to be the primary way you develop character. And so it's not an excuse for behavior, but it's an explanation about why it formed. And then you can take the judgment off yourself and go, it's not because I'm a bad person. It's because these things happen to me. They're very real. They do form our nervous system. Our nervous system responds before our conscious thought does. And now I can go after what caused it versus just try and treat the symptoms of it.
Yeah.
So good.
It's so good. And like you said, it's not excusing
No.
the thing that happened to you or that you did. It's understanding. Yeah.
And I think you bring up such a great point too about, like, self-control. I don't know, I've had this thought about how what we teach in collabs really is about the fruits of the Spirit. Just us actually having them, not the idea of them, right?
Right.
And that self-control, to me, is at the nervous system level. Like, if we're waiting until our conscious thought to control ourselves, we've long lost. Like, we're way, way further down the road, really only by, like, less than a tenth of a second. But
still.
But the response can be something that lasts time in our relationships. It can cause a consequence for years, or even within our own nervous system. So self-control I've been thinking about that, and that it is about, like, how do we care for our nervous system? And therefore that self-control is then built in. It's not about conscious decision making.
Right.
Do I have control of my self-care almost? Most of us don't.
That's self-care piece. I've always been puzzled or fascinated, I guess, by Jesus said, we're told to love our neighbor as ourselves, but we're never told how to love ourselves. Well, through some of what we discovered in doing the collab with you is we actually have a greater understanding of what was intended for us, how we were supposed to be cared for. And what was how our cup was supposed to be full, so that we could actually suffer better and longer, because we know that there's a God, and there's not only a God, but a community he drove us to that would help us recover, and we could strengthen and re-engage and not retreat. But if you don't have the capacity to recover, if you don't know that you can or how you will, you'll likely not engage in some of the battles God wants you to fight for other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you won't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah. Lisa, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I was thinking, so a lot of the coaching I do is with executives. And if you think about in the corporate realm and stuff, one of the things you're taught early on is don't show any emotion, period. You know, that's just not allowed. You work through, you do whatever, but you don't show any emotion. And so when you've learned for years and years and years to turn that piece off, then even if I ask somebody a question like, well, how does that feel? There's just this look of deer in headlights. Like, what do you mean feel? You know, what do I think about it? We can go there all day long. Yeah.
But even back to that self-care part and the nervous system, our feelings will give us an indication long before our thoughts will. And if we can learn to identify our feelings within our bodies and practice that to where it becomes something that we're really aware of, then we actually can have a clue long before we have a thought.
Yes, exactly.
And it's really a gift to us. And if we stop and think about it, most of us actually know when something's off. We may not be able to give it a label like, oh, that's sadness, or we know anger pretty well because anger usually has some pretty obvious cues. But anger also can be a cover for other feelings that we don't understand or have never become aware of in our bodies. And when we're thinking about logically problem solving, if we don't know what we're trying to logically problem solve because we're totally detached from that feeling, then we're just going to end up right back there.
Right.
And this is coming from somebody who spent 40 years of their lives as a left-brained logic problem solver as well. Like, I know what that looks like, but it just kept digging me a bigger hole.
Right.
In the end until I couldn't get out.
Yeah, we're not finding what the root is. We're looking at the symptom, but we're not looking at the cause.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's really
I had a couple weeks ago where for three nights that week, I had it wasn't the same dream, but the theme was the same. I felt powerless. And in the dream, I was powerless, and there were people after me to take my life. And I was like, and so we wake up early in the morning, and I was really troubled. Like, this is the third night this week that's happened. And I had been learning this idea of just don't be too quick to move past that. Don't be too quick to just, I'll deal with this later. And so I literally was there. I was just laying in bed, just like, I don't want to let go of this, not because I want to ruminate. I really want to know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And so we struggle, like Lisa and I struggle with that. And I had to just say, here's what I need. I need us to stay here for a minute because this is troubling me. And our habit is just to, okay, yeah, great. Let's move. What's the next thing? And I'm like, no, I really want to know. And so I remember hearing somebody say years ago that when you're vulnerable, ask the Holy Spirit to go deeper, because you never know what might trigger the walls to go back up again. And that was what I was trying to practice in that moment. So
that's cool. And you were inviting Lisa to do that with you. It sounds like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Dreams can often be an indicator of some of those feelings that we can't quite access in our waking hours, for sure.
Yeah. Brain's always processing.
Yep. Always.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review to let us know. Also, subscribe on your favorite listening platform to stay up to date on all things Table and Well. To learn more, start your journey, or get information on how Table and Well can help develop your community, family, or teams to be relationally healthy and authentically connected, please go to tableandwell.org/collab to schedule an interest call, or you can email us directly at known@tableandwell.org.